All right, it is time for Football Friday with the Buffs, and I'm being joined this week by Buffs senior linebacker Eric Collins. Eric, it is great to see you. How are you doing, buddy?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Eric is a senior linebacker from Cedar Hill out of Bishop Dunn High School. You're still in Canyon at this point. I know your family is back in Dallas. How's everybody doing back in Dallas?
Everybody's doing pretty well. I mean, everybody's inside, so I guess they're just really just taking it day by day, just waiting for this quarantine stuff to go away.
Eric, just to talk about your honors from last season, you earned first team All-LSC linebacker last year in 2019, 67 tackles, 12.5 for loss, 4.5 sacks. And one thing that's pretty cool for you, Eric, not a lot of college football players can say this. You have started every single game since you got on campus, freshman year, sophomore year, junior year. What does that mean to you?
I'm honored, honestly. My main goal coming in when I first committed to the Bucks, I just wanted to work hard every day, just prove that I deserve to be here, And honestly, I'm humbled also. Like, I feel like, honestly, I didn't really deserve the first team recognition that I got, but I guess other people thought otherwise, and I'm truly honored,
Football's a contact sport, and there's not a lot of players that can say they've gone 3 years, started every game, but played in every game, and really you haven't been banged up. What do you credit that to?
I have to say the training room, my trainers, the coaches, even my teammates, going in there in the weight room every day, working out to my fullest ability, making sure that I get the right lifts in and everything, so I won't get injured. And then, like I said, the training staff in the weight room and everything, Coach Kozak implementing workouts and stuff for injury prevention and everything. And,
you mentioned working out, and so it reminds me of this. It reminds me of your first year, and even that camp before your freshman season. And Coach Hughes is telling me, he's like, "Hey, you got to watch out for this kid. He's an athletic linebacker. He's kind of skinny right now. We got to put some weight on him." But he said, "This kid is going to be making plays." Eric Collins, go back to just the beginning of this for you, and being recruited to West Texas A&M, and you started in with Coach Hughes. So, kind of your journey, so to speak.
Yeah. It was crazy. A lot of people, I want to say, when I came here on my visit and everything, I really didn't know what I was going to play. I know I played safety in high school, and then I ended up playing linebacker a little bit at the rest of my senior season. And then a lot of schools talked to me about playing linebacker. Not linebacker, but safety. But they're like, "We don't have film on you at safety anymore, and you're too small to play linebacker," because I weighed 180 pounds. And I was like, "Well, I know I can play." So a lot of schools passed up on me. Then I came here, and then they actually believed in me. They saw the film, they liked the film and everything. And then it was just like, "Hey, man, like, if you come in here and do what you got to do, you will play." So I came in with the mindset, all right, I got to do what I got to do, make sure I get on that field. The coaches believed on me from day one in training camp. They saw what I could do. Then it just took off from there.
Yeah. You mentioned the coaches believing in you. Obviously, Hunter Hughes recruited you here. Coach Hughes and JT Haddon, who's a big piece of the West Texas A&M defense. Those two guys, you've been here since the start with both of those coaches. How much have you seen the culture change, Eric, in your 3 years?
I've seen it's changed tremendously. I feel like as each fall camp is like, as we've gone through, since I've been here, each fall camp, it's just, I feel like we're more of a family and we play for one another, We pretty much, like, I guess, just support each other's weaknesses, wherever area we're weak in, and then it's just like, it just all falls into place. Just going out there every day, every game, every practice, even like going through the team dinners and stuff, laughing together. I mean, that plays a big role in like our success and everything. So it's changed a lot.
Yeah, and it's been good too, because we've seen the product in terms of how you guys have grown together. It's equated into more wins each season.
Yeah.
Right? Your 8 wins. So how did you feel at the end of last season? 8 wins, knocking on the door for a playoff berth, and a lot of talent coming back. Talk about last season a little bit, Eric.
Last season was great. You definitely want to try to win all games. So, I mean, I feel like when we lost to Angelo State, that was kind of the game where what I really saw was just like, wow, like everybody in the team, like we care and we knew we could have won that game. And then it was just, I feel like now I feel like we're ready. I mean, even
Yeah.
next season, I feel like we can do it. Even like potentially like push for the run for a national championship. That's just my goal for everybody, and I feel like we're capable of it. Seeing what we did last year.
Yeah, let's brag on you a little bit right now. I feel like during my broadcast, the last 3 seasons, I've said several times that you are quietly one of the best players on the field, whether it's offense or defense. And I think a lot of that is because of it seems like you come up with big plays in the most critical times. Now you've kind of evolved into this special kind of playmaker on defense.
Sometimes it's just you might not hear from me a little bit, but then when it's time to step up, I'm willing to step up and do what it takes to win, you know. Go out there, just play my hardest, and then hopefully something happens or occurs. And when I see my chance, I capitalize on it.
So obviously with no spring football, with no workouts, no coaches that are right there to push you, challenge you, tell us a little bit about what you're doing in terms of staying in shape and just the Eric Collins workout.
So I just do a lot of body weight workouts and stuff. I went to the store the other day and got some dumbbells, some bands, and then I looked up some stretches and stuff because I know I wanted that to be a part of, add that to my game so I can be more flexible, so I can dip and bend and stuff whenever I rush the quarterback. But just taking some jogs, running around. I have a dog, so play with him also.
What kind of dog?
A blue heeler.
Nice. And the dog's name?
Pluto.
Pluto.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool.
So yeah.
I think dogs are enjoying this time maybe more than anybody else.
Yeah. I was saying that today.
Just getting to spend, as there's my dog barking right now,
yeah.
You spend more time and maybe getting a little more spoiled. So Eric, I know some people maybe have just stopped watching the news altogether. I don't know. It's been sad to just see the different things that are going on around the country. But in terms of the athletics world, I know one thing that's being talked about with some of the professional sports and even with college as well is if we're able to get back to playing, there's a potential that it could be the players, but it might not be the spectators. You might not have fans that are at the games. If we were looking at a situation in the fall where you guys were playing games and there was no screaming fans, 10,000 screaming fans, there was no band that was playing, the pageantry that's there with college football, if that was missing, how would that feel for you as a player?
It would be really strange. It would be lifeless. I mean, the fans are everything, really. They bring that extra, it's like the last ingredient, the main ingredient. You never want to like just unadd it. I mean, let's say you're cooking spaghetti or whatever, the sauce is important. If you don't have the sauce, it doesn't taste the same, you know?
And so, Eric, you talk about the fans and how that would be strange, obviously, if we weren't able to have games with the fans there. I want you to go back to this last season and from a player perspective, talk a little bit about the atmosphere for you guys out at Buffalo Stadium, which I thought was really cool this last season.
Oh, it was exciting, especially the first game. It took me back to my very first college football game. You know, I was a little bit nervous that first game, and that's something unusual for me, you know, since I've been here and whatever. But that first game, it was something different to feel, just looking around, and I was just in awe of everything. It was like almost replaying my first college football game, you know.
Yeah, I know, Eric, I bump into you from time to time because you work here at the local Walmart. What are some maybe interesting things that you have maybe seen at work in the last month or so?
I would say people stocking up on toilet paper. That has to be the strangest one. I mean, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, what's your theory on the toilet paper thing, Eric?
Maybe people were thinking that we were going to get stuck in the house for like months at a time, so just get it while you can. I mean,
yeah.
I honestly don't even know. But yeah. I think the strangest thing is the toilet paper. The water I can kind of understand, but the toilet paper, I really still haven't came up with any like clue or idea like what's going through people's minds.
Any interesting masks that you've seen from any of the shoppers?
I haven't seen any. The masks have all kind of been normal. I mean, you see sports masks here and there with like different team logos, but nothing really unusual.
Yeah. Okay, so Eric, I mentioned that your high school career, you played at Bishop Dunn. and you were obviously a star player on the football team that was a state runner-up. You also were a track and field athlete. Which events did you participate in track? I was curious.
Long jump and triple jump.
Okay, long jump and triple jump.
Yeah.
In any of the running events?
No, my coach tried to get me to run the 200, and I was just like, I'm not fast enough for that. I don't think I'm ready. But
Eric Collins not fast enough? I can't believe
I
it.
didn't feel like I was fast enough. Dallas area, you got to be real fast, you know.
Well, track and field was one of my favorite sports in high school, and one of my favorite races was the mile relay. And so I know, even though you said you didn't run, you know how cool the mile relay can be. It's the last race of the day. It's a man's race. You know, you got to be tough to run that. So here's my question for you: if you were putting together a mile relay team to compete, and it consisted of buff football players, who would you choose to be on that 4x4 relay?
Ooh, I think I would probably definitely put Wellington Bridges on there.
Okay.
Ladarian Hudson, Brandon Blair.
Oh, Brandon Blair.
Yeah, Brandon Blair.
He's a tough dude.
Yeah, and I would go with myself. I go with myself.
You mentioned secondary. I thought you were gonna say Tobias, but maybe he's a short sprinter. I don't know.
Tobias is pretty fast. If he was doing 100 or something like that, or like 4x1, definitely I'm putting him on there.
Yeah. Now I've had some of the other players tell me that our freshman running back from last season can really fly. Harris.
Khalil Harris, man. I know during the season or whatever, he started out on scout team and stuff, and I was just like, man, like, why isn't he playing? Like, why isn't he traveling with us? Like, he's out here, like, actually, like, you know, he's a good football player, and like, honestly, I said in the future, like, he's gonna be like the main guy.
He showed that at the end of the season, obviously, the way he finished. Okay, so during isolation period that we're all in right now, Eric, do you have any hobbies that are keeping you busy, some things that maybe you didn't have time to do back before this all started, and now you've kind of find yourself doing?
Oh, yeah, so I've been playing a game with Tobias, playing Madden and stuff, Tobias and Zach. We just been playing the Ultimate Team on Madden, so.
Is it true that he is the master of Madden? That's what he tells me.
I played him the other day and beat him in overtime. So I wouldn't say master until you can get past me, but he's pretty good.
What team do you play with?
Oh, I play with the Cowboys. I really can play with any team, but my favorite team to play with will probably be either the Chiefs or the Cowboys.
Okay. And being from Dallas, are you a Cowboys fan?
I am.
Eric, you play the hard-hitting position of linebacker, and it's one of my favorite positions to watch. And I'm going to show my age here. I'm a little older than you, obviously. When I think of linebackers, great linebackers, I think of the names like Lawrence Taylor. I think of Junior Seau. Think of Mike Singletary, going back to the mid-'80s Chicago Bears. And then, of course, one of my favorites, all-time favorites, is a Ravens player, Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
Do you have, and maybe it's some guys that play currently or some guys that used to play that you just really like to watch play or emulate your game after?
So I like Lawrence Taylor. I want to get better at pass rushing, but Lawrence Taylor is by far, I guess if you could say, one of my favorites. Derek Brooks, even Von Miller, you know.
Yeah.
They're some of my favorite linebackers.
And we've had a lot of time during the isolation to life to slow down, but I know we're all missing a lot of things as well. What do you feel like you've learned during this time? And also, what do you miss the most? What are you looking forward to when we do get back to some normalcy?
Just being outside and just being able to really just communicate with people and not. So, I mean, social distancing is teaching us a lot, but I think honestly, communicating and stuff, that's important. I mean, we're human beings; we have to communicate. But I just kind of just been taking it day by day, you know, reading and stuff, trying to find things to do, whether it's just going outside a little bit, just walking and stuff, you know, getting more in tune with nature, and just even going to work.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just kind of getting an idea like what everybody's thinking or talking about with like the quarantine and stuff going on, or what everybody's thinking about the quarantine. Just asking questions like that.
Well, Eric, it was great to see you. Great to visit with you and to get to know you a little better. Hope the fans enjoyed this. You've had an incredible 3 years, and we want the last year, your senior year, to be the best. I know Buff Nation cannot wait to see you out on the field chasing down quarterbacks again.
I can't wait either, man.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Eric. That's going to do it for this edition of Football Friday with the Buffs. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Have a great weekend, and go Buffs.
Go Buffs.